Hello friends, welcome to Senior Coding Web Development Platform. In today's video, we are going to create a RGB. So as we already know, we have used this function to define the color, that is red, green, blue, as a model. And we are going to use under this, each parameter defines the intensity. Maybe it has this value over here as 0. I'm just dragging. You can able to see under the red color it have a color combination. Since this is also red, this is also red, but when I'm dragging this slide, it changes the color according to that. So maximum my color size is 255 and minimum color is 0. Similarly, if I'm sliding for the rest of the thing, my maximum color is 255 and the minimum color is 0. I'm processing for the blue. Here also it repeats the same. For each value, for each drag, you can able to see on the below, it have the respective value representations. So maybe it means that for the each intensity of the color, as I mentioned, it is between 0 to 255, and when it is multiplying with the 256, 2 into 256 into 256, the total thing is 100 and 600. Maybe I'm using this all this combination, it now tend to this particular white color. Okay, so we may have a question, what is the RGB used for? So it is nothing but for the digital communications like television or website, you will have the color mode. No, for this only we are using. Okay, so normally, as I mentioned, RGB, it primarily stands for red, green and blue. So we may have a question, what is the basic difference of RGB and RGBA? Where RGBA, it is nothing but on the fourth channel, the A represents the alpha value. So the alpha value, it is nothing but the progression or the alpha control. It means that it controls the contrast part. Okay, so let me see how it works on the Xenia platform and what are the coding we need to be insert in this RGB to execute this RGB color. So under the HTML part, I'm going to make the field set. I'm using this tag, the field set, and I'm making their label for, which is my initial values, that is initial letter is R, and I'm making here as R. Next I'm closing this label. So next I'm going to use the input type, where my type could be in the category of range format. So I'm using the range, and I'm making there as minimum is equivalent to 0 and maximum value is equivalent to 255, and I'm making their ID is also is equivalent to R, and for this I'm making their step is equivalent to 1 and making their value is equivalent to 0. So next I'm processing for their output. So under the output, I'm making for equivalent to R, and I'm making their ID is equivalent to R underscore out, which is 0. So this particular field set has been completed. Similarly, I'm going to process for my G and B. I'm just copying this one and I'm making here as paste over here. Here I'm changing as G, and again I'm changing it as G. The output should also display it as G, and it should change as G out. So again I'm making as RGB. So here I'm making as B. I'm using the smaller case and I'm changing it as B. Again I'm changing it as B and I'm making it as B out. So rest of the thing it's our same. So we have done the field set so far. You can able to see on the right hand side, based on the input level on the HTML, it has been changed. So my output ID is equivalent to my hexadecimal value. For this I'm using as hexa and I'm making as 000456. So the output has been closed. So my HTML part is over. Next I'm going to do my scripting part. For the scripting I'm going to use maybe I'm going to use a script dot source, which is equivalent to app.js. So I'm just opening the file app. So now I'm moving for my function part. So under the JavaScript, what are the things which we need to insert in the sense? We have to use the function of variable. Under the variable, I'm going to declare the body. For variable of RGB, I'm going to use this like they need to get the value from the query selectors. So let me start. I'm going to use variable body, which is equivalent to document dot body, and I'm going to use R equivalent to document dot query selector. I'm using as hash R, and G is equivalent to document dot query selector, which is G, and I'm making as again for B is equivalent to document dot query selector, and I'm making as hash B. Again I'm processing for R underscore out, where it should select the document dot query selector and it should make hash R underscore out. So I'm just processing for the other thing, and maybe we can copy or you can type. So I'm just G underscore out, which is equivalent to document dot query selector hash G underscore out. So similarly B underscore out is equivalent to document dot query selector I'm using as ash b out. So again I'm making for my hexa out also. So we have created that for also we are going to use a function over here. Document dot query selector ash hex. So next we need to function to be set the color. I'm using here as function set color, where I'm making here as variable, where for r value, that is a r1, it should start from the integer, it should never fall with the floor basis. For this I'm using the parse int, and it should get the value comma 10 dot to string just of 16. So I'm processing for my G hexa and B hexa. Maybe I'm just copying. So I'm changing here as GB G, and here is B B, and again I'm changing here as B. Here I'm changing as G. So this part is done. Next, on the continuation of this, I need to add my hexa value. Under the hexa plus pad, it should add my r underscore x plus I'm going to use pad underscore g x hexa. Again it should add my pad of blue color. So where I'm making their body and their style, making their background, color is equivalent to hex, and I'm making their hex underscore out dot value is equivalent to hex. So next I'm going to process, and I'm going to check with my function where I'm making their pad of n, and I'm making their return value. Their value should be written, and I'm checking with my length less than 2, and checking with the operator 0 plus the value should be increase of n. So next I'm going to make r dot add event listener, where I'm making there as change and processing as function. On the continuation of this, I want to set the color. Set the color, and I'm making as r underscore out dot value, it should display my r dot value. So maybe I'm making here as this is an optional, or you can skip this if it is false. And I'm closing this condition. So similarly, I'm going to process this add event listener for my we have done the change. Next we have to use the input. So I'm just similarly processing. Here I'm going to change as input. So I'm going to repeat for the other thing of G add event listener input, G add event listener of change. Similarly for B, I'm going to process on my JavaScript. On the scripting basis, as I mentioned, I have done the R add event listener as a change and R event listener as an input. Similarly, I'm used the G dot add event listener as a change, and I have add for G add dot event listener as an input. And next I have done for the B dot add event listener as a change and B dot add event listener as a input. So as if now we have completed the HTML and scripting JS part, still the CSS part is over. Let's see how it works. What are the things to be inserted in the CSS? So under the CSS part, I have added the background color and I have done their text alignment to be the center, and I have made their padding to be the 40 pixel and 0 and 0 and 0. Next for the field set, I have to use field set and just making their border to be none, and I'm making their output as display inline block. Next I'm making their minimum width is 2.5 rem. It's 2.5 rem. So next I'm making their label output. So label comma output, I'm making their padding as 2 pixel and 9 pixel. Next I'm making their border radius. Border radius is 3 pixel, and I'm making their font family Roberto sans serif. So next I'm making their color is ash 0, and making their font size is 1.1 rem. So next I'm making for label. Under the label for R, I'm making their output, which is for R equal to R. The curly brace is opened. The background color I am changing as ash 0F0. So again I'm processing for the other thing for G. And only I'm going to change the name. Here I'm changing as G. Again I'm changing it as G. Maybe I'm changing the color as 00F. Again here I'm changing as B. Here I'm changing as B. So next here also I'm changing as 00F, or you can choose some other color which is your convenient. Maybe I'm changing it as F00. Here let it be F00, and here could be 00F. Here could be 0F0. I'm closing this statement. So next I'm going for my hexa, and under this I'm adding my minimum width, font size and background. So this is what about the CSS part. We can execute this particular thing on, we can check the values. I'm just sliding this one. Again I'm sliding. So it is working on this platform. Maybe you can try with this respective coding and type and execute this output. Thank you.